Hello, Scoreholio organizers and players. This is Ben with Scoreholio. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to run a set schedule league. This is something where if you're running like an 8-week league and you got a whole entire schedule built and then you play a bracket or something for a championship, it does a great job of doing that. It builds the whole schedule for you and manages everything. On the left side, you'll see I'm at scoreholio.com. On the right, I have a phone simulator here so I could kind of show you what the players see as I show you what the admin over here sees. Now, I run everything on my phone, but you can always bring a laptop and run everything from there too. To do that, you go to run a tournament here or run a tournament there. But they both do the same thing. No, it doesn't matter as long as you log in with the same email. I'm going to do this on Cornhole, but we have set schedule on everything. So go ahead and choose pickleball or whatever sport you're going to do. If you choose the wrong sport, you can always click on this logo at the top and change your sport at any time. Once you're logged in, you're going to go ahead and create a new tournament. I've already got one created. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to click this edit button. Now, this is the same thing that'll happen when you're creating a new, but I already have mine set up, so I'll go over the schematic here. We have the event name here, the tournament date and time. This is very important. Make sure that you put your first day and time for the first week that you're playing the set schedule. It's going to create the entire schedule based off of this date and time, so very important you get that correct. Then your location, all that good stuff. Private means that it'll keep it off of our Find a Tournament tab where all the public tournaments are, but your players will be able to see it as long as they're in the tournament and set up correctly. I'll show you that as we go along. Public just means it's just on there and anybody can see it. You could choose which one you want to do. I'd show private when I'm doing a tutorial. Test and live. The test will keep the push notifications from going out and from the games going on to a player profile. So if you're ever testing, just put it on test. If it's live, put it on live. Um, Player scoring. So this allows players to score from their phone and their device. I'm going to go ahead and use that for this tutorial, so I keep it on. The format is set schedule. That's an important thing that you got to do for a set schedule tournament. And we have set teams. That's 0 to 4 players per team. I'm going to do a must play three. You know what? I'll do a best of 3 tutorial for this. But you could do anything. You could do a singles. This is what I do in my league. That means that Team Ben will play Team Nick. After that, Team Ben will play Team Jasmine. We're just going to play one game. If you do best of 3, then the teams would do a best of 3. Must play means that they play all 3 games, all 5 games, all 7 games. So you could choose what you want to do. For this tutorial, I'm going to do a best of 3 match. The next big one is this rank by, and you'll notice that there's match win percentage and game win percentage. So a match has games in it. In this case, this match has a best of 3. So if you choose match win percentage, which is what I would do for a best of 3 tournament, it'll say if Team Ben beats Team Nick, they are 100%. So if I go 2-1 or if I go 2-0, I'm 100%. A game win percentage would mean it would take in consideration every game that was played and won or lost. You'll notice if you do a single game, you get a lot more different options. But if you are doing best of or must play, you get match win and game win. So we're going to do match win percentage, and you'll see what that looks like over here once we get started. Any questions you have, go to this info button right here. It has what all of these mean. So you can go ahead and check those out. Seasons, don't worry about this for this. You don't need that for a league. This entry fee is if you're doing pre-registration or accepting payments for pre-registration. You can find all of this information out, description, everything in the docs.scoreholio.com section. And I'm just going to go ahead and click update on this tournament that I have prepared. Next thing you want to do is you're probably going to want to share this if you want to do pre-registration or just have people check it out in the app. You can click on it and click this share button, and that's going to give you a link to this tournament or QR code people could scan, and it'll bring them right to your tournament if they have the app downloaded. If not, it'll have them download the app, and then they can click it again, and it'll go right to your tournament. For the admin, I'm going to go ahead and click on my tournament, and I'm going to go to the admin button here. This is where you're going to make all the magic happen. Now, we haven't started this. We haven't made a schedule. I'm going to hop over to the player side. So if a player is playing in your tournament, you're going to want them to click this player profile button. They're going to put their first name, last name, email in, and it's going to make them a profile. Then they're going to be able to go to this Find a Tournament tab. When they go to find a tournament, there's going to be 3 tabs at the top. If they go to mine and they're in this tournament, that means it'll show up on their site here. They can click on that tournament and they can click on the dashboard to see what is going on in the tournament. Now, we haven't started this, we haven't made a schedule, so it's just a list of all the teams that are in the tournament, and the players will be able to see that. Now, hopping back over to our admin side, I'm going to show you how to get players and teams into this tournament. If you want to create an empty team, just any team to go into this checked in team section, you can go here and you can type in, let's say I'm going to add my dad to a team. I'm going to say in his favorite team is the Rams. I'm going to add that team. And you'll notice it comes down here and adds the team as the Rams. My dad is right here in this unassigned subsection. I can click on him and I can add him to the Rams. And now he's down there on that team. You'll see right there. If I want to add somebody else with them and they've played in one of my tournaments before, I could do this manually, add existing players. Let's say I want to add my mom to that team. I can do that and add her. She's going to go to this unassigned subs. I click on her and I add her to the team with my dad. And now I have the Rams over here with my mom and dad on the team. Now, one thing to know is that you just need to click on things, right? Let's say that I personally am not a Rams fan. So let's say I want to change their team name. I can click on it and I can call them the Lambs and I can save that. Now they're on the team Lambs, right? So if you need to change the team name or edit any of the game wins or losses or anything like that, you could do that by clicking on the team. One thing you'll notice, I'm in this tournament right here, right? Ben at scoreholio.com. I have my email and I have a player profile on the app. You'll notice I don't have a bell like some of these people. If you don't have an email in here for somebody, they're not going to get alerts. We don't know who they are. We don't know what phone they're on or anything like that. If they have your email in there, you need to tell this person, hey, go download the app and enter in your first name, last name, email on player profile, and that bell will actually disappear. We'll link them to this team. So that's how you're going to go ahead and get the people to be able to player score or get alerts. And that's how you could tell is if they have that bell or not. Let's say one team actually pre-registered, they would be up in this section here in pre-registration, and you can click on them and you can go ahead and check that team in. And that's how you move them down here. So now that we're all set, we got 9 teams in here. We're going to go ahead. We got 2 subs. This is how you do sub management. You just put them in here and you click them on the team. If you need a sub, somebody subbing for Nick, we're going to remove Nick from this team. It'll take him off and put him up in this section. Then I'm going to put Alia on the team, right? So now that's how you do your management of your players throughout the entire schedule. So I'm going to click set schedule, and of course, it's going to tell us we need an even number of teams. So if you have an odd number of teams, you will need to add a bye team. And that's the way that we can make the schedule with an even number of teams. So I'm going to go ahead and click this set up schedule button, and I'm going to show you our 2 options here. A time-based schedule is probably something you've been doing for the past 30 years. That's Team Ben is playing Team Jasmine on court 3 at 7 o'clock. Team Ben is playing Team Nick on court 5 at 8:45. That's how you would set this up. You'd say how many weeks you're playing. Let's say 8, and we're going to play 2 games a night, and each game takes 45 minutes, and it'll build that entire schedule for you. Scoreholio went one step above because we're amazing, and we built something called the optimized schedule. Now, an optimized schedule does not tell you what time you're going to play. It doesn't tell you what court you're going to play on, but it tells you who you're going to play that night. And it optimizes the courts to make sure that there's never a court open and that everybody's playing efficiently. So that's what I use, and I'll show you how it works once we get into it. But I'm going to say I'm going to play for 8 weeks, and everybody's going to play 2 matches a night. And I'm going to go ahead and create this schedule. You'll notice on the right, when I click create schedule, it's going to go ahead and refresh this thing. As soon as the schedule is created, it takes about 10 seconds because we're building the schedule in the background. It's going to update, and now all the players will see this, which is the actual coming up list. It's got the schedule for everybody and the standings, and this is how your players are able to follow along in the tournament. Now, back to the admin here. Let's say that we want to pause. So this is our schedule, and you'll go ahead and let's say that we want to pause all these bye teams, right? We don't want them to go onto a court. So we could search for bye, and that'll bring up every game with a bye. We could mass edit them and pause those games. And what I'll show you on the next screen, what that means and what happens when you do that. So we're ready to start week one. Let's say that it's, now ready to go. Everybody's there, and we want to start. We're going to go to this round robin tab, and we're going to bring in week one and click update. And when we do that, it's going to bring in all the games for week one, right? So now here's all our games for week one. The games are, the bye games are paused here. Remember, we paused it. So that's good. You'll notice those aren't going to be played. So all we have to do is click this advanced game button, and it's going to fill the courts with the teams. You'll notice I got my alert here because I'm in the tournament, right? So now I'm on court one. I'm on Team Cardinals. So as a player, because my email matches the email of the player on the team or on the court, I can click it, and I can click live score this match. And if I click start game, I can sit here and score the game. There's basic scoring, score magic. You can learn more about that in the doc section. The top half of this number goes up. The bottom half of this number, when they click it, goes down. So once they get to 21, you'll notice that there's going to be a submit button that pops up right here. And if you'll notice it's 21 to 4 here, it's 21 to 4 here. Everything is synced together, and I go ahead and submit that. You'll see the boxes on the top are representing the games that have been won. Now you can use player scoring. That's fine. You teach everybody. You get them all to download the app. We would absolutely love that, obviously. But you can also do, tablets behind the courts. You could do what we call kiosk mode. There's a bunch of ways to score. If you look at docs.scoreholio.com, you can go ahead and find those. But I'm going to go ahead and submit this, and you'll notice it's going to take Cardinals and Lambs off this court, and it's going to put them in complete. It's going to look and say, are Cornholios or Dodgers on any of these courts? If the answer is no, it'll put that next game on. Let's say the Dodgers was on this court. It would skip it and go Raiders and Kings. Are they on the court? If the answer is yes, it would skip that and go to the next one. And that's what this optimized schedule does, is it optimizes it and makes sure all your courts are full. Look, I won that game, so I dominated somebody. Give me a little text alert. That's fun, right? So anyways, we're going to go back here. You'll notice that now, because I've won a game, I'm now at 100%. I won one match. Underneath it shows our game wins. I won 2 games. And the Lambs, I beat my dad and mom, unfortunately for them, and they are at 0% down here. And it'll keep track of that throughout the entire time. Now, we're going to pretend like week one is done, right? All these games are off the court. If you need to pull games off the court, you just move them like this. You just click on them and move them back to the queue. You're going to see that it's going to pause them. You can always click on them and unpause them to get them back in their spot in the lineup here, right? So week one's done. Courts are empty. Everything's done. You'll notice in my list of tournaments, it says January 7th at 3 o'clock. After we're done, I just set week 2, which will be the next week that we're playing, and I click this update button, and it's going to go ahead and bring in week 2 games, so I'm ready to play. So when everybody gets there that night for week 2, I click this advanced game, and it's going to fill the courts. If I go back here, you'll notice January 7th, if I refresh this, it's now January 14th. So we update the tournament listing to the top one that you have inside your active week. So we update that for you to keep it in that upcoming section for all of your players. Now, a couple of schedule management things. Let's say that the Dodgers weren't going to make it this week. We can always search for the Dodgers, and we can click on each one of these and edit it. So let's say we want to just spread them out. We want to now have them play an extra game in week 2 and an extra game in week 3. You could just move those, and you do want to change the date. I wish I would have showed you that, but you want to change the date so that way it's at the top, the same date, but we could do the 31st, and we're going to say that's week 3, and we update it, and it's going to move that. So now the Dodgers would play 3 matches, in weeks 2 and 3. So that's how you would be able to go ahead and, handle your management there. Let's say you really just wanted to do, you wanted just to delete these bye games. You can always click here and mass edit or anything, and you could delete every bye game that's in there. So now you don't need to pause them. They're just completely out of your schedule and you don't even have to deal with them. Some people they like it so everybody plays every team twice or something like that. Well, if you do your schedule, sometimes you might have a couple teams overlapping. You might have to delete a couple of the games at the bottom of the schedule to make sure that everybody has even amount. Um, you can always validate the schedule to make sure that everybody has the same amount of matches in here as well. You can always add a match if you want to. Create the entire schedule on your own without using our schedule maker. Whatever you need to do. A couple things if the people score wrong. Now, if you're playing single matches like I do, you can come to this stats and logs and you can click on it and update the scores, and that's how you can update each one of the matches. However, if you are doing a best of or must play, you will have to come to the schedule tab and you're going to have to delete this game. So you're going to have to come here, you're going to edit it, and you're going to reset this entire match. That's going to take it off of all their player profiles, everything, reset all their scores, and completely redo it and put it back to TBD. Then you would come here to this round robin tab and that one's in week 1, and you would go ahead and put it back onto the court and manually score the match correctly to fix the score. So that's how you fix the score. A couple other things that's really cool on the player side here. If they have their standings, they can actually look at each week's standings. So how did I do in week 4? How did I do in week 7? That's how they can edit and see all those different things there. Once you're done with your schedule, all 8 weeks are finished. Now we just want to run a double elimination tournament. You're going to come up here to this bracket tab, and in this bracket tab, you'll click create bracket, and everybody will be seeded based off of how they did during that schedule. You can say you're running a double elimination and create your double elimination there. So that's how easy it is to go ahead and create your bracket, and then all of a sudden, you'll see everybody gets the bracket tab on their phones over here. So that's how you do your championship when you're done, is just bracket and then create bracket. But that's pretty much it. That's how you run a set schedule. Sorry, this is an 18-minute long video, but I'll try to chop it up in YouTube so it's a little easier for everybody. This has been with Scoreholio, and as always, it's easy peasy.